Hi everyone, welcome back to this series of videos on machine learning with Python. So as discussed in my earlier video, we'll be learning about user-defined functions in this video and the other video. I have divided user-defined functions into two parts. In the first part, we'll be learning about how to define a user-defined functions, what are parameters, and what are called by reference. Then we'll be learning about how to develop a simple calculator. And in part 2, we'll be learning about more about variables and global variables as well as anonymous functions, the lambda. Okay, let's get started. What actually are user-defined functions? Before we learn about user-defined functions, let me tell you, I've already told you about what are functions, which we have already been using, like input and print. Similar to input and print, we also can develop our own functions in Python. We can write our own functions in Python, which means you can write a function and use it again and again in your program, similar to you can use input and print multiple times in our program. So user-defined functions in Python are block of codes which are given a name, and when you use that function with the name, execute that function with that name, it will execute all the commands inside the function name. So functions, user-defined functions in Python are block of codes which are reusable, and it does a single related actions, and the function may or may not take parameters, and it may or may not return values. So what are returning values? I'll let you know as we proceed further. First of all, let's see how we can define a function. A function in Python is defined by using the keyword def followed by the name of the function and the parameters you want to pass within your rounded brackets, the normal brackets, open and close brackets. You pass the parameters here, but first we do without passing a parameter, and then you need to put a colon at the end of the function definition. After that, when we press enter in your Jupyter notebook, it automatically indents. Here you see it indents. Similarly, if you are not using Python, if you are using simple notepad to write it, then you may need to indent by using tab. So here I have already indented. It's already by default indented by Jupyter notebook. Indentation is very important, I have already told you. So here a equals to 10. So a is a variable here, as I already told you all in the earlier videos. I'm assigning 10 to a, b equals to 20, and c equals to a plus b. Then here I'm commenting this, and I'll uncomment this. Let me comment out these ones because I don't want to go in this one first. Here I'm commenting return C. So I'll let you know what this means. First of all, let's just look at a simple function. Here my func is a simple function which has these statements inside it. So whenever I call this function anywhere, my func1, then these statements are executed. So here my func1, so I'm just calling similar to print my func1 here. You can call it multiple times. So when we execute this now, my func1, I'm executing here by calling my underscore func1. As because it doesn't take any parameters, I'm not passing any parameters, but in print and input we pass some parameters. In the next one we'll see how to pass parameters. So let me just execute this here. So it executed this person, and then it executed the value of C is, and it printed the value here. Here value of C is 30. Now if I write return here, what it means is similar to your input function, this function returns the value c. So when you call this function, it will return the value c, and you can assign that value to any variable. So var1 equals to myfunc1. So what this means is whatever here it's returning will go into var1, and I'm printing the value of var1 here. So it will print value of var1 is 30 here. Value of var1 is 30, and I have commented this. So return function may or may not return values, but when it returns values, you can assign it to a variable, and whatever value has been written will go to the variable, and after that you can use that variable anywhere for any kind of actions. Here I'm printing it out. Now what are parameters? Parameters in functions are similar to what we passed in our print and input functions. We just pass some values within the open and close brackets. So here when you define a function with parameters, you pass the name of the parameters here, and when you call this function, you need to pass these parameters. So these parameters a and b can be used anywhere inside your function when you write the code. Here simply what I'm saying is c equals to a plus b, where a and b are parameters that I'm passing. So when I call this function, I need to pass two parameters. So here I'm saying var1 equals to myfunc2, this function, and I'm passing 100, 20, two parameters. So a will get 100, b will get 20, and c equals to a plus b, which is 100 plus 20, 120, and I'm saying return c. So c will go to var1, which is 120, and it will print 120 here. Value is 120. Here value is 120. So here if you just pass one parameter, let's see what happens. Here it gives an error, so which means these parameters are compulsory. That means you need to pass two parameters compulsorily. What is required parameter will be coming in the next video, or in the next video. So let me just execute. So this is, so you need to pass the required parameters, the two parameters compulsorily. Now what is pass by reference in function? Pass by reference in function means whatever variable you are passing as a parameter to the functions, and that particular parameter values are being changed inside the function, will be reflected to the calling program. That means wherever you are executing the function, calling the function, that and the variable, if it is changed inside that function, will also get reflected to the calling program. What this means is, let's see here, I'm declaring a function f1 which takes a parameter str1, and here str1 at the 0th index I'm changing the value to shed. Now here I'm declaring a variable str with a list, which is a list of a, b, c, d, e, f, and I'm printing the value of str before calling the function. And here I'm calling the function. This function doesn't return any value, so I can directly call it here. So str1, I'm passing this list here, and str goes to str1, and when I'm changing the value here, the same value will be reflected to str, and str will have shed in the 0th index. So this should print z, b, c, d, e, f, this one. Let's see. Here you go. The second one, after calling the function, it has become shed. So what it means is, when you pass a variable as a parameter to a function, and that particular parameter of the function is being changed within the function, it will get reflected to the calling program. So the values changed inside the function are also available outside the function in the calling program. So by the way, let's note that all the parameters in a function in Python are passed by reference. So any variable you pass to the function are passed by reference. There are no pass by values in Python which does not have a which are variables. All are passed by reference. That is to be noted. Now we have already learned about functions, simple functions, and we already know about control structures. Now based upon what we have learned earlier, we'll do a simple calculator program here. Here I am defining a function my underscore cal1, and I'm passing three parameters. A and B are the numbers that I want to perform action on, and OPR is the operation that I want to perform. You can give any name here, but I'm just making an assumption that first two parameters are the numbers I want to perform the calculation, and OPR is the operation that I want to perform. So here what I'm checking is, if this OPR parameter that I'm passing is plus, then C equals to A plus B. If OPR is minus, then C equals to A minus B. If it is into, then C equals to A into B. Else, there are only four operations that we are checking now. C equals to A divided by B. Then I'm returning the C here. So I'm taking two inputs here, two input integers. Then I'm taking the input of operation, what operation I want to perform. You see here I'm not giving int here, and I no need to give str because input operation always returns a string. Now here I'm saying var1 equals to my cal1, and I'm passing the the variables which I accepted from the user and the operation I want to perform, and based upon that the operation, the percentage of percentage d is percentage d, operation num1 num2 var1. So operation is whatever we have accepted here, num1 num2 whatever we have input here, and the value that we have performed the action. So let's execute this. Here first number, let's give 100. Sorry, there is a problem here. Let me give 100. Then second number, let me give 200, and what I want to perform is plus. So let me give plus here and then enter. So here the plus of 100 and 200 is 300, so it has gone to this one. Let me re-execute again. So let me give 20, and let me give divide. So divide is not this one, not this one, and not this one, so it will go to this part. Here the division of 10, 20 and 10 is 2. So this is how this simple calculator works. So this is all what we are learning today. In the part 2, I already told you, we'll be learning about more about parameters, and we'll be learning about global and local variables. So see you in the next class. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.